Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, plastic bags will soon get phased out, according to a new bill signed by Governor Brown. We'll tell you all about it. And hundreds came out in support of breast cancer awareness. We'll take you to the 3rd annual Making Strides event. Then installing solar panels just got easier thanks to local Assemblyman Almworth Suchi. We'll tell you why his office and local businesses are celebrating. Plus, police officers from Torrance and Los Angeles joined forces for a great cause at the Lazy Dog Cafe. We'll take you there. These stories and much more are just seconds away. Your local news starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. More cases of children who developed polio-like symptoms are being reported, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Boston Children's Hospital announced 4 new cases affecting children between the ages of 4 to 15 with limb weakness. 10 cases were also reported in Colorado. While it's not clear whether the enterovirus D68 is causing the paralysis, medical professionals say there could be a connection, as polio is an enterovirus which can affect neurological symptoms. The cases come during an unusual outbreak of D68, which can cause severe respiratory illness in children. The virus started spreading in the Midwest in August and has since infected more than 470 people in 41 states and the District of Columbia. Most recently, 4 children in San Diego and Ventura counties were tested positive for D68. Public health officials are urging all Californians to take routine precautions to limit the spread of the virus. They encourage frequent hand washing, covering coughs and sneezes, and keeping sick kids home from school or activities. Rumors were put to rest when ExxonMobil officials confirmed with the city that they are not putting the refinery up for sale. ExxonMobil authorities said while the company regularly evaluates its global portfolio and business opportunities for growth, they confirmed they are not planning to sell and are committed to conducting business in California. The 155-barrel-per-day refinery on Crenshaw Boulevard is Exxon's only refinery in California and the second smallest of its half-dozen plants in the U.S. For the second time in less than 2 months, Albertsons is warning shoppers in California that personal information may have been compromised again. Albertsons first announced in late August that malicious software was installed on networks that process credit and debit card transactions at some of their stores. And while they haven't officially confirmed it, authorities say they're investigating a possible second breach that could include account numbers, credit card expiration dates, and the names of cardholders at stores in more than a dozen states, including California. In the August breach, nearly 180 stores in Southern California were affected. And while Albertsons has not determined whether or not any personal information was obtained in the latest hack, customers who have been affected are offered a year of complimentary identity protection services through All Clear ID. Anyone who's shopped at the store between August 27th and September 21st are asked to visit albertsons.com for more information. Well, whether it's Albertsons or any other grocery chain, shoppers will need to stock up on reusable bags now that Governor Brown signed into law SB 270, a measure that will phase out single-use plastic bags from California supermarkets, convenience, liquor stores, and pharmacies. This was one of the last major bills pending during the final week of the legislative session. The action creates a statewide standard after 127 cities and counties in California have adopted local bag ordinances. Beginning July 2015, the bill prohibits grocery stores and pharmacies from making available single-use plastic bags, as stores will offer paper and reusable bags for at least 10 cents each. Then a year later, the ban will extend to convenience and liquor stores. Local ordinances are grandfathered in, and the state will provide $2 million in competitive loans to help plastic bag businesses transition to making reusable bags. Governor Brown is also expected to make a decision on a bill allowing family members to petition judges to take away relatives' guns if they are deemed to be dangerous. Assemblywoman Nancy Skinner introduced this bill after the deadly rampage in May near the University of California, Santa Barbara, that left 6 people dead and 13 injured from gunshots and stab wounds. If passed, this would be one of 768 bills approved during the final weeks of the legislative session. Supporters say it could help prevent future attacks like the one near Santa Barbara, while opponents say it could erode gun rights. Santa Barbara County Sheriff's deputies had visited the killer, a 22-year-old community college student, Elliot Roger, weeks before the rampage after his parents raised concerns about his behavior. But deputies determined he was not a threat, and the legislation would make California the first state to to let family members go directly to a judge to request a restraining order that would prohibit gun possession, at least temporarily. Law enforcement officers in Connecticut, Indiana, and Texas already can seek a judge's order allowing them to seize guns from people they deem to be danger. Skinner's bill would extend that authority to family members. A court hearing would be set within 14 days for firearm owners to argue that they are not a danger. A related bill also awaiting action, SB 505, seeks to encourage law enforcement to check gun purchase databases before conducting welfare checks. If you've got one hand on your cell phone at all times, you may find this next story rather interesting. A Baylor University study titled The Invisible Addiction, Cell Phone Activities and Addiction Among Male and Female College Students was published online in the Journal of Behavior Addictions, and it revealed that nearly 60% of college students admit to a possible cell phone addiction, with some saying that they even get agitated when the device isn't in sight. The study included 164 students and showed female students spend an average of 10 hours a day on their cell phones, while their male peers spend almost 8 hours daily, with heavy use possibly leading to poor performance in the classroom. The research also found that women may be using their phones more to build relationships through emails and texts, while men use cell phones more for entertainment or utilitarian reasons. The researchers found that college students overall spent the most amount of time on their phones texting, an average of 94 minutes a day, followed by 48 minutes a day sending emails and 38 minutes daily checking Facebook. Microsoft recently offered its first look into its next operating system, Windows 10. The software that hopes to deliver a winning formula for powering tablets and smartphones along with laptops and desktop computers. Microsoft designed the new operating system to run on the broadest types of devices. Windows 10 will offer one application store that can be used to purchase apps across all platforms. Microsoft says there's one product family, one platform, and one store for Windows 10 devices. Since it's an operating system built around all types of devices, Microsoft is taking the opportunity to specifically target the enterprise market, where companies can activate not only a phone but possibly another device like a laptop or tablet out in the field to even employees. IT managers will also be able to manage all the devices from one place. Windows 10 will also offer the Start menu again, which is a feature Microsoft removed in Windows 8. The Start menu will provide quick access to programs, the option to restart and shut down, and pinned applications like the calendar, Microsoft Office Suite, a live weather panel, and more. The full version is set to launch to the public in late 2015. Well, still ahead, fundraising while raising awareness for breast cancer will take you to this year's Making Strides event. Plus, find out which Torrance resident makes it on The Price is Right in honor of breast cancer awareness. We'll tell you right after the break.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not, go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
El Camino College is getting ready to honor 4 outstanding alumni at their upcoming 2014 Distinguished Alumni Awards event. This year, the honorees include educator Monica Fredrickson, Assistant Clinical Professor Dr. Gregory Rafija, California Highway Patrol Captain Ryan Stonebreaker, and U.S. Army Major General Megan Tattoo. ECC's distinguished alumni have shown outstanding achievements in their chosen career, service to the community or area of endeavor, while gaining local, state, or national recognition for their involvement. Honorees were selected by committee and represent the fields of art, medicine, politics, business, and education. Congratulations to all of you. A recent episode of The Price is Right television's longest-running game show on the CBS network featured one lucky Torrance resident. On the October 3rd episode of the game show, they had a special breast cancer awareness episode, including breast cancer survivor and Torrance resident Kimberly Levine. All contestants that day were either diagnosed with breast cancer or are cancer survivors. She told us it was a great experience being around others who've either just recently been diagnosed, survived, or are being treated for cancer. There were even cancer patients who had just had chemotherapy before taping the show, and they had the most positive attitudes. Levine says she doesn't even remember hearing her name, only jumping up from her seat and high-fiving people on her way to the stage to bid. In case you missed this show, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/thepriceisrightcbs. Among the governor's many bills he recently signed this week, one authored by Torrance Assemblyman Al Muratsuchi also made it through, making the installation of solar panels a much easier one. Here's Laura Fong to tell us more.
A big thank you to Governor Brown for signing AB 2188, the Solar Permit Streamlining Act.
Going solar is much easier now thanks to Governor Jerry Brown and Torrance Assemblyman Al Muratsuchi, who spearheaded the campaign for Assembly Bill 2188.
This dream has become a reality.
1 year ago, Randy Bishop, the CEO of Varengo Solar, told Assemblyman Muratsuchi how simple it was to install solar panels in homes, but how difficult the approval process was, with paperwork, engineering permits, and several inspections.
We told Al that while it took a day to install rooftop solar, in many of the state's county and city jurisdictions, it took 2 months to get a simple permit and another month to get a final inspection. It was like we were doing business in 200 different countries, a lot of them third world, all at the same time.
All of that is going to change with AB 2188 going into effect on January 1st. It's a solar revolution. The new law cuts through the red tape and streamlines the installation process for rooftop solar panels on homes. The measure puts much of the application process online.
We, Varengo, and other solar contractors will save thousands of hours in permit processing and interconnection inspections as a result. And these savings will be passed on to the consumers.
The new streamlined system could bring the installation cost down by about $1,000.
California has very ambitious solar goals. We want to have 1 million solar homes by 2020. With the passage of this bill, we should see that accelerating possibly even sooner than 2020. That also means, of course, thousands of new jobs for the California solar industry, which will be terrific.
The bottom line is AB 2188 is good for consumers, good for jobs, and good for the environment.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. The new law mandates cities to process permits for small resident solar installations within 5 days, and it's reduced the review process to one single inspection after the panels have been installed. While taking big steps towards finding a cure for cancer and raising awareness, Torrance recently held its annual Making Strides Against Cancer event. Reporter Laura Fong takes us there.
I'm going to be doing this 5K, and I'm really, really happy to be saying that I'm going to be doing it as a survivor.
Honoring breast cancer survivors and fighting for a cure, hundreds like Hope Wachowski, who was diagnosed earlier this year, came out to Wilson Park for the 4th annual Making Strides Against Breast Cancer event.
The greatest things about what's happening today is the money stays in our community, so I actually get to see survivors that have benefit from the WIGs or the programs.
Every little step counts, and this 5K walk hopes to raise $75,000 for the American Cancer Society. The event chair, Gina Calderon, is a breast cancer survivor herself, and she says the event is about celebrating survivorship and informing the public.
You need to do self-exams, and you need to go in for your yearly mammograms. And I always say if you're not doing it, have somebody else do it. But you need to be mindful of your self-exams. That early prevention is the key.
The American Cancer Society estimates more than 230,000 women will be diagnosed in 2014 with new cases of invasive breast cancer, and about 40,000 women will die this year from the disease.
This money goes to the American Cancer Society, which goes to the doctors and the chemists who are looking to find a complete cure for cancer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today.
Torrance CitiCable's very own senior producer, Hope Wachowski, is a breast cancer survivor and a proud participant this year.
I never thought that I would be doing Making Strides because now I am a cancer survivor. I had breast cancer, and on March 4th I had my surgery, and I am proud to say I am cancer-free.
The walk continues to grow each year, and the group hopes the event will one day shut down the city of Torrance until they can find a cure.
I have a goal that I'd like to see Torrance close the streets down for us.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. This year, the event raised just over $68,000. The Torrance Police Department joined forces with the Los Angeles Police Department to help raise money for a fallen officer. Laura Fong takes us inside the Lazy Dog Cafe for this unique fundraiser.
It was very tragic for the family, and we're just here to help in any way we can.
Sergeant Paul Krunke is just one of dozens who came out to Lazy Dog Cafe to show their support at a fundraiser for fallen LAPD officer Eric Alcaraz.
This poor young guy, he just came back. He's 24-year-old, and he's a Marine, and he just came back from Afghanistan, and he just gotten off probation, and when tragedy struck.
Officer Alcaraz was killed in a traffic accident on September 6 while he was riding home on his motorcycle along Western Avenue near 234th Street. He had just finished his one-year probation and was 2 days away from starting his new post in West LA when he was involved in the fatal traffic collision.
We're having a fundraiser today where when you eat lunch, 20% of your proceeds, your bill, will go to benefit the Alcaraz family. And it's a small way we can help with the family with expenses with their sudden loss.
A fallen police officer, no matter the department or the city, hits home to all officers. The Torrance Police Department and the community came out to support Officer Alcaraz and his family.
We felt the loss just as much as they did.
We just want to bring awareness to anyone that has gone through this or any family that has gone through a loss with an officer in our county.
Daniel Bryce works at Lazy Dog Cafe, and he says many organizations ask to hold fundraisers at the restaurant, but this one was extra special.
When we heard that what the cause was for, we always want to center ourselves around family and just, being aware of anyone that has fallen. We want to take care of them and treat them as our own family. So this event really hit home with us, to our hearts.
Lazy Dog went above and beyond for the fallen officer and his family. Instead of donating 15%, which is what the flyer says, they decided to give 20%.
You want to help out in any way you can, and we're here to help that family.
In Torrance for CitiCABLE, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. Not including the donation jar at the front of the restaurant, Lazy Dog Cafe says they raised $819.73 for the Alcaraz family. Well, still ahead, this restaurant serves up its final meal to loyal customers. We'll take you there.
The police called after midnight when they caught our son at a drinking party. It was a real wake-up call. A policeman suggested we try Al-Anon family groups. I didn't want to go to a meeting, but I'm glad I did. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
I started mentoring my mentee Dantre 4 years ago. I always thought about doing it, always seemed like a good idea.
We were both nervous when we first met, but everything kind of fell into place.
Mentoring is important to anyone that's pretty fortunate in life to have a little bit of time to pass on that knowledge.
Etienne's a very close friend. I look at him as a brother and a father figure. He taught me just focus on the big picture because I would like to give back just like Etienne gave back to me. Be someone who matters to someone who matters.
Welcome back. We hope you have a pen and paper handy. Here's a few noteworthy events to tell you about. The Torrance Unified School District's Board of Education is looking for applicants interested in joining the Independent Citizens Oversight Committee. Due to a recent vacancy, the board will be choosing a new member at its regular scheduled meeting on October 20th. Applications can be dropped off at the TUSD office of the Deputy Superintendent at 2335 Plaza del Amo, or it can be mailed to the same address by Wednesday, October 8th. The board will appoint the at-large member of the committee at the October 20th Board of Education meeting. For more information, contact Dr. Donald Stabler at 310-972-6061. Then on Saturday and Sunday, October 11th and 12th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Torrance Historical Society and Museum is hosting the original fall tour of historic homes. For a $25 donation, guests will be able to tour the inside of 7 homes and see how others have renovated, updated, and decorated their historic homes. For more information, you can call 310-328-5392 or go to torrancehistoricalsociety.org. Then on Sunday, October 12th, come on out to the Depot Restaurant for the 19th annual Halloween Ball, benefiting the Pediatric Therapy Network. There will be dancing and dining along with opportunity drawings. For more information, call 310-328-0276, extension 202, or you can purchase tickets online at pediatrictherapynetwork.org. Well, a restaurant locally here in downtown Torrance served its final meal to loyal customers. And diners say it's not the food they'll miss, but rather the person behind it. Here's Laura Fong with more.
We're disappointed and we're going to miss her.
I'm certainly going to miss talking to her.
After 29 years, Lisa Lee, the owner of Buffy's restaurant in downtown Torrance, is closing the doors for good.
It was very emotional. Saying goodbye to my customers, and it just like, it brought tears to my eyes.
As a final farewell, Lee threw a big party for her loyal customers as they meant much more than that to her.
They accept me in their families, and then not only one family, but so many families. And then for 29 years, you see that, one generation after another generation after generations.
Longtime customers say goodbye to both the diner and the community they created inside.
Oh yeah, people would come over and we'd be playing cards and they'd say, "What are you playing?" And we'd share our card games and, talk about, different things.
4 generations of Doreen Canizario's family loved eating at Buffy's, but beyond the food, Canizario is going to miss hanging out with Lee.
She always asks me, "How's your daughter feeling when my daughter was doing this or this daughter was doing that? How'd she do on her law exam? And did she pass the bar yet?" And, I didn't have to remind her. She remembered all that stuff about my family.
Another regular at Buffy's, Patty Duffer, says the waffles were worthwhile, but it'll be the person behind the food that she'll miss the most.
When we think back of all the years that we've had of friendship, and that's exactly what happens when you come in. It's like visiting a friend, and there's always things to share, and that's what I'm going to miss most when this place is no longer here, is Lisa herself.
I'm so happy that I'm so loved by people.
And while Lee is grateful for her time in downtown Torrance, she says she's ready for her next adventure.
I'm almost being retired, but I want to be brave enough to leave this and then fulfill my dream, another dream.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. Lee says she plans to pursue her passion for painting, and she's going to do her best to meet up with some of her regular customers once a week at various restaurants in Torrance. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun. If you missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.